Welcome again to beautiful Copenhagen. This is one of the best cities I've visited due to its beauty, due to the wonderful, happy people, and due to all the amazing sights around here. Join me for a walk around Copenhagen. We're going to walk around the area right by the lakeside in order to enjoy the beautiful views of things like this over here, these colored houses at Nyhavn. I'm Ariel, this is Urbanist. Let me know where we're watching from. Got a little bug on my hand. Alfred is always the first one to tune in. Alfred, hey, Alfred, you're always on top of it. Thank you so much for always for saying hello. So, here's another day in Copenhagen. We are right now in the most picturesque, most photographed place in Copenhagen, which is Nyhavn. It has these beautiful colored houses right here. And we're going to just wander around, no direction, no agenda, just to enjoy a little bit more of Copenhagen. It's a beautiful, beautiful city. And I'm only here for a week. And a lot of people said, you could do Copenhagen in about 2 or 3 days. I think it might be worth a city that's worth a week if you're a tourist. If you're like me, who's a content creator, it might be worth 2 weeks. I could have easily stayed here another week and done more videos, especially walking around videos. So join me here through Copenhagen. Look at these views. Oh my God. Hello, John. John from the Philippines. We have a few Filipinos tuning in. Looks like a gorgeous day out. Yeah, I'm drinking an iced Americano made by one of the coffee carts that are found around the city, close to all the hot dog carts. So I'm on a very kind of New York combination of coffee and hot dogs here in the middle of Copenhagen. Let me sip more of this coffee and then we're gonna start walking around. I'm drinking right now an iced Americano, which is really good, actually. Really, really good iced Americano. Barrett says you could do a day trip to Malmo. Maybe I could, yes. Colorful Building says, Joe, what time is it right here? 4:30 p.m. right now in Copenhagen. I'm a bit saddened because I lost my gimbal tripod while somewhere in the city. So I can't put my gimbal down. And it kind of sucks. I have one tripod, but it's so big. So I've already had one tripod broken, one lost, and luckily I have a third one. Problem is, coming here to electronic stores. Electronic stores here don't have almost nothing for video or photo. So I couldn't find any good tripods, or at least a cheap one, which is not the case in the US. There's a lot more stock in terms of photo and video. So if any Danes have any good tips on where to find a small, tiny little tripod that I can fit in my pocket for my gimbal, do let me know. Let's continue walking around. Hello, Agnes. Nice to see you here. Kissin says, go to a Nepali restaurant. Nepali restaurant. Why? Gary says, hope you're not going hungry in Copenhagen. No, hot dogs are such a great deal. I just got a hot dog. It cost me 35 Danish crowns, and that was about $5, which is a pretty good price for a street food hot dog that's actually really good. Better deal than New York hot dogs. Mary says, are you going on a boat ride? No, not today. You can see the boat ride I did a few days ago. That was on live video with live jazz. Kay says, watching you while I'm eating my late lunch. Hey. Hi. 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 I think they were saying, "Oh, that guy's doing the live in Danish." Hey, Robbie, nice to see you here. Joe says, "Did you get my PayPal?" Joe, I did. Thank you so much for responding. Joe DM me so I can. Joe is gonna become our new mod on YouTube and Facebook. So Joe, DM me because replying to PayPal is a bit more. It's not so easy. So thank you so much for the PayPal. I do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Wally, 100 stars. Thank you so much. Mary says, "Love the scenery." Oh yes, me too. It's gorgeous. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, says DS. Oh, yes it is. Ava says, "I love Copenhagen. Hans Christian Andersen's house." Ah, you know, I did not go to Hans Christian Andersen's house. Gary says, hopefully you're not living on. Danes are so nice, hey. Hopefully you're not just eating bread and water. Gary, you'll be shocked. Anyone else tuning in, you'll be shocked. A bottle of water in Copenhagen is $3. Insane. I mean, I would expect that in Disney World, but in the middle of Manhattan, you can get a bottle of water for like $2, but it's $3 here. The street lights are cool, says Nikki, or Nick. We have Nikki and Nick tuning in. Thank you so much. Bjorn says you can get a tripod at Igagetin. I already checked. They don't have the very small tripods. They have the Joby ones. Jobies are terrible, in my opinion. I would never buy a Joby again. They're very hard to just put down spontaneously. So yeah, I'm very particular with the tripod I use. And it has to be small enough that I can carry in my pocket, which is the one for DJI Osmo. And unfortunately, they didn't have it. Problem is, when traveling, how does one order things from Amazon and when you're traveling? Hey, Bella says the mystery solving yesterday was fun. Oh, I'm so glad you enjoyed it. That's awesome to hear. Brian says, best thing you've eaten thus far in Denmark. You know, Denmark has good food. Copenhagen has good food. I would say the best thing that has blown me away is the hot dogs. I did it on live video. Check out my first impressions of Copenhagen video towards the end. I show a hot dog stand. That's the best thing I've ate. It is some of the best hot dogs I've ever had in my entire life. Truly, truly wonderful hot dogs. I recommend to anyone and everyone tuning in. Susie says, will Win put you at risk on this live stream? Yeah, it will on Facebook. Someone copyrighted Win, and a lot of my videos are being muted. I hope Facebook handles that at some point. Susie says that's criminal. Yes, that should not be allowed. Facebook hopefully handles that quick. People have tried that on YouTube. It was a big issue a few years ago, and luckily YouTube has put a temper on that. Someone tried to copyright also bird noise, so they were making tens of thousands of dollars from copyright strikes on YouTube, and they also had to put a damper on that. Hey Bella, nice to see you here. Welcome. So part of this live video show, part of the beauty of it is that it's more authentic, it's more real, down to earth. And I want to see if anyone has ever felt the same. I'm in this gorgeous city, Copenhagen. By all means, it's one of the better cities I've visited. And today, you know, I was tempted to go to a few of the attractions, but I felt zero motivation to do so. It's not that I was tired, but I just did not want to go to any of the attractions. I just felt like wandering around. Let me know if that has ever happened to you. And how do you feel about that? Because I feel a bit conflicted. Because sometimes the attractions might be interesting, but if you're not feeling it, maybe it's a good sign to follow your intuition and not go to the set attractions and kind of just enjoy more of the city. Very friendly Danes. So let me know, how do you feel about that? How do you feel when you go to this beautiful, gorgeous city and just don't feel like going to the attractions? Just feel like walking. Just feel like taking it easy. Susie says it's okay to do nothing. And the other thing is Copenhagen, there's not that many tales or legends that I could find here in Copenhagen. So I've been kind of struggling to even make short videos about Copenhagen. Live video is awesome because I can walk around and just show you the sights. But to make these short videos, I've been having a little bit of a vlogger's block. And I have no idea what legends to tell about because there's not that many I could find. There's barely videos or podcasts on Copenhagen's history. So let me know. Teresa says the Mermaid. Oh yes, we can walk that direction. Ambrose says it's just mermaids. Mermaids is not really a legend here. It's more the Hans Christian Andersen's fairy tale. I'm not entirely sure if mermaids are even a legend associated with the Vikings or with the Danish history. That's a good question. Hey, Haas says, totally agree. Walking around with the locals, love that. Yeah, there's something about traveling to each different city has a different way of experiencing it. Rome definitely sticks out in both food and the ruins. Greece, also same thing as Rome. Greece is pretty much similar to Rome. Food and ruins. To me, Copenhagen is not really too much about the food. You can find some great food here, but it's not about the food. Copenhagen, I think, is just about wandering. Girl Nicole says, this is how we find Ariel's wife. I have to admit, Copenhagen is one of the most gorgeous cities I've been to, and I'm not talking about the architecture. And I'm not talking about the food or the statuary. It's one of the most gorgeous places I've seen. The Danes have good genetics, really, really good genetics. Hey, so glad you're able to meet with Corey Fry. He's a dear friend of mine, says Haas. Yeah, Corey Fry is awesome. I hope to collaborate with him again. Here's another of the hot dog stands. Some of them sell hamburgers as well. But the hot dogs, I don't think it really matters what hot dog stand you go to. You'll find a great one. Some of them are going to be a bit more expensive because they're in the tourist area. So here I'm spending just 5 crowns more if I were to buy this same one that I just bought a few blocks away. Joe says, mermaids are famously attached to sailors back in history, and the Vikings were known for their sailing. Seems like a romantic city. Evidences on the boat, says Ron. Yep, that's right. Susie says, Ariel turning his back on UK women. I'll let people be the judge when seeing this live stream. Rosalva says, beautiful day, discovering new beauty. Yes. Alfred says, will you consider writing a book about your travels around the world? It's a great question. I love learning about culture. I love learning about the differences in culture, and history and food is very illuminating. Architecture, all three very illuminating about that. Urbanism too, very illuminating about the culture. Yeah, maybe one day I'll write a book about that. Bella says your wife will be very attractive and smiley. Smiley, yes, I am deeply attracted to smiliness. That is very true. Joe says you go back to the bookstore. We are near the bookstore. Let's go over to here, catch better views. Can't play a famous song. That's it. Eleanor says, you won't be in the US for the July 4th? No, I won't. I won't be in the US. I'll actually be here. I mean, tomorrow's July 4th. I'll be here in Copenhagen. But, you know, in honor of America, I'll be eating a hot dog tomorrow as well. I just ate hot dogs today. I've been eating hot dogs on a daily basis, but I'll eat more hot dogs tomorrow. Dia says, I would say there's a relaxed vibe in Denmark. Really, there is a super relaxed vibe in Denmark. So we have a viewer by the name of Mr. on YouTube. His name is Daniel. And he was explaining in the comments, thank you so much, Daniel, for explaining this in the comments. He said that one of the reasons people don't jaywalk, aside from there being a ticket that you might get that is about 100 Danish krona, pretty expensive. No, it's not 100 Danish, $100 would cost a ticket to jaywalk. Aside from that, one of the main reasons people don't jaywalk is because Copenhageners, Danish in general, are not that in a hurry. So they take their sweet time walking and crossing the streets. And that's very fascinating. Says, where are you going to next? Please tell me. I'll keep it secret. You have to just stay tuned. Anne says, are you visiting war pigs? I don't know about war pigs. I haven't researched into them. Do let me know. What a beautiful setting to just chill in, says Tamara. Yeah, it's a gorgeous setting. Hey Christine, thank you so much for 100 stars. Mermaids are synonymous with Denmark, says Susan. Viking sailors dealt with sirens. Interesting. Thank you so much for the inspiration. Mary says, do you purchase any souvenirs? Denmark is way too expensive to buy any souvenir. I bought postcards, and postcards I might keep one of them, but each postcard was about $3 US. It's pretty expensive. No, I got a series of postcards. Yeah, they were about $3.50 US, but postage stamps were $5.50, $5.60 US. Most expensive postage stamps I ever had to buy. So 10 lucky mega urbanists will be getting postcards from Denmark. If you receive it, you better treasure it with the deepest part of your heart and soul. Otherwise, you'll be getting postcards from other places in Europe, which are going to be really cool too. So don't fret if you don't get one from Denmark. Wendy says, please give me a fridge magnet. So a budget pro tip, if you're looking for inexpensive sandwiches, this chain of bakeries is really good. Their reviews are not too high on Google because they're a chain, but Emery's. Their avocado sandwich is like $5, and it's really good, really fresh, on rye bread. Very generous with the avocado. So that's a pro tip. Emery's. Lady says, what do you do for a living? This. Right here. I walk for a living. It's a hard living. It takes a lot of new converses. Ava says, do you plan on going Norway or Sweden? I'll say this, Ava. If I go to Norway, I don't think I'll be able to do another month of European travel. So let me know. I'll put it up to the vote. Should I cover Norway for 1 week and that's it? European vacation over, because Norway will stretch my budget to the maximum extent. Or should I go elsewhere and stay for the next nearly two and a half months? Let me know. What do you vote? Dorian says, you must be in good shape. Yes, I have calves of steel. Calves of steel. Oh, yes. When I wear shorts, I gotta watch out because I have a lot of ladies ogling me, and because my calves are so brolic, as they say in New York City. Mathona says, leave Norway until you've saved up more money. Klaus says, okay, it means Germany's next. Signal looks good today, says Macaulay's. Yeah, it was just, I bought like a mobile for the first 2 live streams. It was really bad, so I had to buy the only other available service, which was Labara, and Labara is really good. Ava says, true, those countries are super expensive to visit. Keep visiting other affordable European countries. This guy looks like Franklin Delano Roosevelt. This is not FDR. Oh my God. What? Look who we found. Girl in the Curl says, let those legs out. Girl in the Curl, I have to be very careful with letting my legs out. It'll be just a swarm of Danish women following me. Look who we found. FDR. No, I wasn't referring to a gentleman in blue shorts. No, I'm referring to this bust. This is the good old American president during World War II, Franklin Delano Roosevelt. President from 1933 to 1945. So now I know what I gotta do here on the 4th of July. This is what I gotta do here on the 4th of July. I'm gonna buy myself a hot dog, a very good hot dog, a nice iced coffee, and eat it right in front of good old FDR here in Copenhagen. A little piece of America here in Copenhagen. It's a good bus too. Very realistic. Seems to be him in his later years. Ava! Cheers! Thank you so much for a $10 super chat. I appreciate you, Ava. Oh, that's so kind of you to leave a $10 super chat. Let's zigzag around. We're gonna go that way, but let's zigzag. Earth Paradise says, amazing live stream. Oh, thank you so much, Earth Paradise. Girl in the Curl says, could do with the cleaning. Yeah, there's a lot of copper used in Copenhagen in general. That's fascinating. So Ava was so kind enough to leave a $10 super chat. Thank you so much, Ava. Round of hearts for Ava. Mary says, love your shirt. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. So I'm gonna put this out there. If anyone in Europe can help me find the tripod for the DJI Osmo Mobile. It's a small little gray tripod, very tiny. This tiny, or the Insta360 tripod, and or the Insta360 tripod, which is like a very long selfie stick and has the tripod legs. If anyone can help me find those in Europe and ship it to me, I'll be happy to cover all the costs, of course, that is involved for shipping and buying the product. I'll be so grateful, because here in Denmark I have no idea where to find it, and then I'll let you know where my next destination is, so you can ship it there. So if anyone can help out with that, do let me know. If you have access to an electronics store near you that has those products. Hey, Paris 14th of July is Bastille Day, says Cindy. Yes, it is.
Oh my god.
Linda sent 200 stars. Thank you so much, Linda. That's so kind of you. The 200 stars. Klaus says they have those in Berlin. Klaus, you try and convince me to go to Germany. Robert says, why can't Amazon ship to your next destination? Amazon's not global, so if I buy it from my regular American Amazon account, it can only ship within the US. I can't get Amazon.com, American Amazon.com shipped to. From Brooklyn, I see you here, John. John, hope you're doing well. Hope Brooklyn Heights is good. I hear Amazon is not as reliable in the EU. This India. I heard the same thing. Susu says, hey Ron, it was great work yesterday being the point master. Yes, Ron and Joe rocked it as point masters. Thank you so much. Kay says we have to order Amazon in Germany. Wow, you have to order from German Amazon since Brexit. Oh, that sucks. Joe says AliExpress covers Europe better than Amazon. Oh, cool. Wow, the wind, says Wendy. Yeah, the wind is fierce. Is this Hans Christian Andersen? I think we found him. Famous writer of The Ugly Duckling, Little Mermaid, countless other amazing fairy tales. Chris says, such a beautiful city. Yes, it is. It's a gorgeous city. Every corner you look, there's beauty. Michelle says, what do you dislike about Copenhagen so far? So I'll disclaim it with saying I really do love this city. I really appreciate it. It's a wonderful city. They've done a heck of a job in cleanliness, in orderliness, in design, architecture. Many aspects of the city are amazing. I would say the only thing I really dislike about the city is its food is rather expensive. Even for the simplest things, like a hot dog or a water. A water is like $3. Yeah, things are expensive. Like a brunch, I ended up spending like nearly $50 2 days ago for a brunch. That was just a eggs Benedict with salmon and 2 coffees. Cost me $50, which in the US probably cost me about maximum about 35, maximum. Probably around more like 25. So yeah, it's a bit expensive. The coffee is really good. The food is really good, but it's very expensive. I would say that's the downside. So it doesn't get me so excited to experience the food in Copenhagen, because I know that if one doesn't keep track, you end up spending too much money, which is a shame. So I would say that's the only thing. Susie says, wow, yeah. Joe says Denmark has no tripods. Yeah, that too. No tripods. Wendy says, are you sleeping well? Oh yes, my bed is very, very comfy and it's very quiet where I'm at. So I'm sleeping perfectly. What is Denmark known for regarding business or tourism, says Doreen. I mean, Copenhagen is a somewhat popular tourist city. Not as popular as a Paris or a Rome or a London, but I've seen quite a bit of tourists here. Business, Copenhagen, Denmark in general are known for sustainability. That's like one of their top major influences on the world. And design, things like that. Yeah, I would say those are the two things most famous for. It's not really much about... That's a good question. I would say this is not like a business center of Europe. That would be London. Finance center, that would be London. Tech center, it's still competing with Estonia and London. Yeah, mostly those two cities is still competing with those. Even it's not even the capital of design, because that would compete with Stockholm and Helsinki, which are also cities that have some of the better design firms in terms of furniture in the world. So yeah, let me know what Denmark is number one at. I think it's sustainability. Recycling, reusing, all that stuff. Which is, I don't even know what to talk about that, because I don't know that topic too well. Joe says, you should write a book traveling on a budget. I really don't travel on a budget. I travel rather comfortably. I prefer to travel rather comfortably. So I don't try to squeeze my budget. Here, I'm a bit more conscious because it has been a bit, way more than I'm used to. So Joe, yeah, usually I'm not the best person to ask how to travel on a budget, because I tend not to do that. I travel within my means, but comfortably. And I don't bother to pinch every penny. Some travelers do that, and some travelers are very good at that. And they can travel an entire year for a fraction of the cost I'm traveling for. Close to Frederick's Church. Yes, let's walk in. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the Marble Church, one of the largest domes in all of Scandinavia. Directly inspired by St. Peter's Basilica. But however, when it was originally built, it took more than 100 years to build, because it's laid in ruin for a good portion of its history. Then, by the late 1800s, they finally finished it. However, they couldn't do the top in marble. They had to do the top in limestone. Susie says your film on your short video on this church was so beautifully filmed. Oh, thank you. Hola, Brenda, ¿dónde está el viaje? Yo estoy ahora mismo en la ciudad de Copenhagen. Yo no sé cómo se dice Copenhagen. So this right here is Norwegian marble. It should be marble. It's a bit rough, so it's not like finished. But yeah, Norwegian marble. And it's closed right now, but you can see the short video for Protestant. Yeah, Pat, it is a Lutheran church. So there's no statuary of saints or Jesus, but there are stained glass inside. Inside is really cool because it also looks like the oh, here's Grootvig. Grootvig has a church built in his honor. One of the more beautiful churches here, which I'll probably visit at some point. He was a philosopher here, Danish philosopher, poet. Don't know too much more about him. Grootvig. Raúl dice, the Tour de France starting in Denmark last Friday. Saludos desde Colombia. Sí, yo filmé todo, yo filmé la carrera cuando empezó en esta área. So yes, this was one of the paths right here in the street. Joe has officially been made into a moderator on YouTube, soon on Facebook as well. Message me so I can tell you the rules, the basic protocol. But thank you so much, Joe, for volunteering to be a mod. Now you got the wrench on YouTube. On Facebook, there's no like symbol, unfortunately. I wish they would add a symbol for moderators. Sometimes they put like the moderator tag on them. Sometimes they don't. So round of hearts to Joe, our newest moderator. Round of hearts. Send the 100 stars saying for your new tripod. Oh, thank you so much for the 100 stars. Ask me, have I been to Christiania? No, I've not been to Christiania. I get that question all the time. If I can't film in the place, I usually don't feel so motivated to go there. Because my work is filming, and I don't know. I don't find it so pleasurable to go to a place that I can't film, generally at least. So yeah, that's why I haven't really bothered going to Christiania, which is yeah. Christiania, if people don't know, it's a free area, like autonomous area in the middle of Copenhagen, run by hippies. That used to be a former military base. Hey, Kay and Ariel sent 500 stars. Thank you so much, Kay and Ariel. Here we are at the palatial grounds. So here we have the guards. Gregory says you can film there, just not on Pusher Street. I was reading, and it says almost every article says that the locals. So live videos is an extra difficulty, or even a short TikTok video is an extra difficulty because of its video. There's not that much chance to ask every person who might come across the video for permission. Okay, thank you so much for 500 stars. I appreciate you. Gary says you couldn't do this at Buckingham Palace. Yeah, this is a cool thing. You You can walk through these royal grounds here in Denmark. Lauren, nice to see you here. Welcome. Lauren, Linda asks, does the wind make it hard to film? It does to film spontaneously. I have to put on my mic to get good sound. And I don't always want to carry around my bag. Joey says, Copenhagen is a much better city than Dublin. Copenhagen definitely has things that are better than Dublin. I really love Dublin. But yeah, there are things here in Copenhagen that do best Dublin. I would say the two cities are pretty similar. Dublin is bigger in population. Wendy says, are we still going to go on schedule? Yes, Thursdays through Saturdays. 3 p.m. Western European time, 9 a.m. New York City time. Lauren said 200 stars, thank you so much. Chris says, even if you can't video, you should go. Yeah, I think I'll hop in for a little bit. Susie says, is clothes shopping expensive? The rest of Europe. More expensive than the UK, Ireland, France, and the US. Combined. No, I'm just joking. Not combined, but it's more expensive than each of them. Yeah. That is the Opera House, says Chris. Oh, cool. Awesome. We reached the Opera House. Den says, what a dump. Is this Europe? Oh, wow. Den. If you think this is a dump, I'm not sure where you're living. Either you're jealous, or you're from some heavenly realm and has been condemned to earth. Alright, let's go for a swim. Swim in these waters, let me know. There's a lot of people. Someone says, is this the one that appears to be, is this the Opera House that appears to lean out over the water? Oh, I'm not entirely sure. This is the only angle I've really seen it in, and from the boat ride. Oh wow, look how fancy this one is. I want to own myself a boat. Not today, it looks very choppy. Mathona asks, do you pre-plan every place you go to? Oh, there's a police boat. Look at that. It's going over to Christiani. So here's one restaurants you can find in the city, and they have very good coffee. Cheaper than the coffee shops, slightly cheaper, like $1 less. So highly recommend the coffee carts. And they actually do real espresso. It's not like a push machine or some type of filter coffee. So Mathona asked, do I research beforehand? So it depends. Some places I cover, I do a whole lot of research beforehand. Other places I cover, I almost do none. Well, I do some, just to learn a little the gist of the place, but not too much. It depends on how much literature I can find on a place. It depends on my interest level of a place. It also depends on whether I think the place would even be worth talking about the history, or whether it's better to just wander around. Copenhagen, I could not find too much literature, in English at least, about the history, specific history. I could find like the general Danish history or general Viking history, but not so much specific technical histories about the buildings and things like that. So I didn't really bother researching too heavily. However, we are going to a place where I've already been researching for many years, and I probably will go deeper into research these upcoming weeks to learn more about the specific location in Europe that I'm extremely excited to visit. So yeah, I think we'll be coming up a place that has really cool stories, like specific buildings and specific corners and churches and things like that. Similar to Rome. Rome, for example, I studied a whole lot. Rome, I got really deep into the history. And as you can tell from my live videos, I told you a bunch of different things about ancient Rome, about the Vatican, all those things. So it really does depend. If I love the topic, or if it's history intensive, the research can go 3 to 10 hours or more. If it's light, like Copenhagen, I do maybe a research like 1 to 3 hours research. Just I don't end up talking too deeply into it. DS, what determines a successful live stream for you? Oh, that's so hard. DS, it's really difficult question to even answer. Online, it's a weird place because high production or preparation does not always equal a better live stream. And there has been moments where I do live streams that are amazing, that were fully spontaneous without any reading about history or really like knowing too much about the information of the location. It has just been really good happenstance that we've bumped into interesting things. And it takes practice as a live streamer, at least in my opinion. I see it as a craft to be able to handle those spontaneous moments and make it fun for everyone on a live stream. And then there's been moments where I really do research heavily and the live stream comes out awesome because I just tell some great, awesome. And that has happened a few times, or many times it has happened. So it really depends. But the thing is, sometimes I do a lot of preparation and I get almost no views. And sometimes it's a bit kind of, it makes me feel a little bit like I'm wasting my time. That people really don't care about learning deeply into the history or the culture or the food, and that it's just better to just wander around. So it really does depend. Yeah. Eva says, don't get blown away on this windy day. I'll try not to. Let's go back into the streets. Chris says, is TikTok more profitable? TikTok is more profitable in terms of sponsorships. YouTube is more profitable in terms of ads and direct revenue. Ads and Gwen says the food and historic stuff is the best part of your channel. Thanks so much. Oh, glad, yeah. They do make good short videos. That's for sure. We're coming upon a little bit of a boring area. Let's go back to the harbor. Wow, the wind is fierce today. Ron says, what has surprised you the most in Denmark? As I mentioned a few times, the people end up being way more friendlier than I would have expected. I've always I say Scandinavia because these three countries here do overlap in culture. I thought it was all going to be very serious, very stern, because there's other European cultures where that is indeed the case. But no, people here are very friendly, smiley, kind, trusting, which is interesting. They do mind their own business. It is straightforward, but it is friendly. Eric says, not a speck of trash anywhere. How is that possible? Yep, it's just very well maintained. Hey, Ella says, I have to tell you, last night I had a dream that I lost something and kept looking for clues and never found it. Why? Maybe because you watched that mystery hunt tour. That's why. Right down there is a facility. I think it's a recycling facility, garbage sorting facility. And they turned it into a park, a ski slope and a park. So that's so funny. Den says it's a nuclear. No, it's not nuclear. It's associated with sanitation. DS says, do you know if each Scandinavian culture is different? From what I've researched, it seems like there are some minor differences. I think Denmark is probably going to be the smiliest of them in terms of just the genuine sweet disposition. But do let me know. Differences in the culture, really? Okay. Pat says, maybe if you know the Queen of Denmark. Oh, I did not know this. If you know the Queen of Denmark. Oh, here's the jazz tour that we were on a few days ago. So, Pat says the Queen of Denmark during World War II was in exile in Washington, D.C. And there were rumors of her and FDR having an affair. That could explain the bust of FDR we saw earlier. Oh, I did not know that there was an affair happening, potentially. Aaron says, ask a local about the no litter, no graffiti. How's this possible? They just have good cleanup crews. I assume they pass early mornings. Have not seen too many during the day. So Miss Lob says, many words are shared There are a few words that mean something different in Norway than when you say it in Denmark. Oh, fascinating. Kay says, I wonder if that couple's doing a repeat performance. Susie says, yeah, FDR was a cad. What? I did not realize FDR was had affairs. I did not know that. DS says no scaffolding. No scaffolding. And this is an old city. I mean, a lot of the buildings here are around the same age. A lot of the buildings here are older than the ones that we see in New York. So we're seeing a lot of buildings from the 1800s. Some of them might be even older, 1700s. And they're in great shape. Kevin says, what's another great thing about being there as a tourist is the majority of Danes speak English. Yes. Yeah, I have not had to use Danish at all. From what I've researched, a lot of Danes, when you talk to them in Danish and you don't know Danish too well, they will respond to you in English. So a lot of expats here, English-speaking expats, have mentioned on YouTube, there's a few channels that said that they have a tough time even practicing Danish. Joe says FDR had an affair with his secretary. Oh, interesting. Oh, what is this? There's a huge hole here in right by the harbor side. What's this hole doing here? Joe says, why is there a statue of David? It's in copper. It was right here by this center. Den says that I said that there's no history here. Okay. One thing you should know is that not every city is created equal in terms of the tales and stories there are. And not every city is created equal in those tales and stories that can be found in English language. So I'm sure there is deep history, of course, here in Copenhagen. It's a very old city. This was a Viking fishing village dating back about 1,000 years. But not every city, not every culture keeps track of, say, legends and haunted stories. That's one aspect. For example, Paris did not have too much ghost stories because just in French culture, and I had a chat with this with Corey Fry, they just don't really care about ghosts or haunted or supernatural. Maybe the same thing here in Denmark, I'm not entirely sure. But the other thing is, some cities like Rome, for example, doesn't have much deep history when it comes to things that are not the Vatican, not Catholicism, and not ancient Rome. You have to dig extremely deep, take way more research to even get any small story about a tiny little house that is not related to the church or some type of monarch or some type of pope. Why? Because in Rome, there was not that much freedom of press, like in New York, like in Boston, like in London. When you have a very big freedom of press where you can really write anything you want to, that's where you have cities that are filled with legends, interesting stories, little tiny stories about merchants or business owners or buildings or architecture. Then you have a lot more plethora of things to learn about. Of course, I'm generalizing, but that is generally the case with a city like Rome. There's deep history with ancient Rome, deep history with Catholicism, but not much more because there was not that much freedom of press. I'm not sure why Copenhagen I can't find too much information. Maybe it'll just take a lot more time to dig in for that information. Maybe it's just all in Danish. Do let me know, Danish viewers. So yeah, it depends on the city. It doesn't mean that there's no history. It just means that it's a bit more difficult to find it. Ron says Danish superstitions. I don't think this is even a superstitious city. So I think even in that regard, it's a bit tough to even find something. All right. Cool building here. Now, there is definitely a lot of architecture here. And then, for example, a city like New York has had a lot more controversy and urbanism controversy. Denmark a little bit, Copenhagen definitely a bit. Chris says, seriously, no history? There are Vikings here. But the thing is, for a live video, there's not that many locations, places I can point saying, this is where so-and-so Viking did something. I can talk about the general Viking history. I can maybe go outside the city and go to a few ruins of Vikings. There's not that many places where I can tell you, oh, this is where so-and-so Viking did this. This is where so-and-so Viking did that. This is where this Viking battle happened. This is where this political controversy about this Viking happened. I can't really do too much of that. It's not like Boston. I can talk about the Founding Fathers, American Revolution. There's actually sites you can see. Ancient Rome, there's actually ruins you can see. Greece, there's actually ruins as well you can see. Not so much here. The history about the architecture and the structures you see are maybe a little more modern stories about things from the 1700s and 1800s and 1900s. Janice, that is a good question, man. Janice says maybe there was not so much controversy, conflict, or drama because there are many stories. Yeah, maybe there wasn't that much conflict. Yeah, Denmark had, of course, World War I and II. I'm not sure about the conflicts prior to that. There is definitely stories with their conflicts with Sweden and their unification with Sweden. There's definitely a lot of that with the kings and queens. Rhonda says, what is the first thing you research before going to a country? Ooh, it really does depend, but nowadays I really like looking into the culture. What is the general culture of the place I'm going to? I think we're getting Kim says, on a different note, while you were watching the Tour de France, did you see a Crown Prince Frederick pass by? He was riding there. No, I did not catch the Crown Prince. That would be cool. I don't know how he looks like. I haven't even seen a photo of him. Inspire Life says, part of what draws me to your live streams is your casual wanderings. Oh, I'm so glad that's the case. It's a gorgeous church. Rhonda says the wind is really affecting your mic. Sorry about that. Yeah, sorry, Rhonda. This was a spontaneous live. I didn't bring my mic with me. Sometimes there's no wind and it's perfect to just do a spontaneous live. There's no problem with audio. Susie says, have you been in their metro? I have, and it's amazing. I will be posting a video about the metro. We got another little coffee shop. Gotta buy a water. Do you have any bottles of water?
Yes.
I'll have one, please.
One?
Yeah, one. Yeah.
Awesome.
And via card.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Have a good day.
Have a good day. Joe says, what religion is more popular in Denmark? To me, it appears to be Lutheran. Joe, great question. Almost all the churches I visited have been Lutheran. How much is it? Says Janice. You know, that is a mistake I just did right there. So learn from my mistakes. I did not ask what the price was. So learn from my mistakes, ask for the price. Generally here in Denmark, I'm getting the vibe that most people are trustworthy. But if you're in a country where trust is a bit more harder to find, then yeah, always ask what the price is and make sure it's marked on the screen. So that was just a mistake I did right there. I did not ask what the price was. He could charge me $10 for all I know. So yeah, gotta watch out. Yeah, it's closed right now. But look, they have these little tables. That's cool. DS says, like New York. Yeah, New York, you do have to be a little bit more wary. Parts of Europe, Italy, you do have to be wary. DS says how old this church is. Let's see if we can find Mark. Judging by the architecture, it's Gothic style. This seems to be more of a newer interpretation of Gothic. So I would say this could be 1700s, early 1800s. Let's see if we can find any information. It's called St. Albans Anglican Church, so it's Anglican. Christian just told us 1887. There we go, 1887. 1887. There we go. So it's neo-Gothic. There's some grotesques as well. Beautiful clear water, look at that. Kevin says one reason Denmark is expensive is the high taxes and salaries. Indeed, yeah. Yeah, people here just paid more. Wow, look at this. This looks like a Monet painting. Wow. Wow, we have very black ducks. Yes, as even the fountain water is clean. Yep, pristine. Wow. Looks like Monet's Gervny, says John. Yep. I think I know exactly what you mean. Inspire Life says, I'm in awe of this city. This city is just pristinely gorgeous. One of the more beautiful cities I've ever seen in my life. Dan says, are you taking us all around the riverways? If you want to watch that, watch the jazz boat tour video that I did about 3 days ago. There you can see all the waterways for an hour and a half through Copenhagen. So Diaz says, I heard that Denmark, instead of Denmark, was the original name. Yes. So I think this is an appropriate place to talk about where does the word Denmark. So the word Denmark comes from, it means literally the march of the Danes, but not marching like doing a military march, like walking, but more a marsh, like this type of water, like swamps. So if you can tell, in terms of culture, you can see how, and history as well, you can see how Denmark is pretty much separated from the rest of the continental Europe. There is very little overlap from what I've researched with the history of nearby Germany and Denmark. That's why the Vikings came out of nowhere for most Europeans, because they kind of were isolated for many reasons. So yeah, the Danish did encounter the ancient Romans, but it still was pretty cut off from the rest of continental Europe due to those marshes in the southern area of the Jutland. And that's why the name comes from, the March of the Danes. Now, where does the word Dane come from? That's a good question. If anyone does know, do let us know where the word Dane comes from. That's the name of the people. It's been the name of the people for ancient times. Now, there's actually a few different types of people, different groups of tribes or people here in Denmark throughout its history. The Danes were just one of them. There was the Angles, the Saxons, that ended up going over to England as well, pre-Vikings. And there was the Vikings, the Norse, as well. So it was all that kind of mixed together. Is there still any German influence in Denmark food, says Joe? Pretty much with the sausages and the hot dogs and the beer. I assume they kind of all share that kind of entire influence of Germany. So in Europe, pretty much in Western and Central Europe, you can kind of split it into two. You have the Germanic Europe and you have the Latin Europe. France, Spain, Italy are the Latin Europe. Here, Scandinavia, Germany, Hungary, Austria are more of and the difference in the choice of alcohol, for example. A lot of Latin Europe tends to be wine. A lot of Germanic Europe tends to be beer. Of course, there's more nuance than that, but this is a generalization. Joseph says the Dane is primarily a name of Scandinavian origin. That means God is my judge, or from Denmark, says Joseph. Yes. You can pass it. Do they wear wooden shoes, Renal? No, that's more associated with the Dutch. This is Frederick the Ninth. Kotzi says, are we approaching the Mermaid? Yes, we are. Now we gotta find her. Yes, we are. That's why we all walking with me. We're all walking together into the Mermaid. Cue the music. Cue the coconuts. Under the sea. Someone's having a sailor party. Lila Sorensen says Danish surnames come from the father's first name. So at some point in your family, Lila Sorensen, there was just a man called Soren. And he was the son of Soren. Yes. It does apply also to English. Also applies to many languages. Dia says, I wonder how easy it is to become a citizen. Well, this is part of the EU, so if you're a citizen of the EU or EU country, I think you could just live here. Do let me know, what are the rules? One of the coffee shop owners, one of the coffee cart owners who's Argentinian, and she was telling me that she ended up getting Spanish citizenship, most likely due to the rule of Spain that if you have I think 1 or 2 or 3 generations Spanish ancestry, you can get Spanish citizenship, and that she used that to live here in Denmark and open up her own business, which is a coffee cart. Chris says the air must be so clean. It really is. The air is super clean. There's not that many cars within Denmark. I mean within Copenhagen specifically. John says, sorry if I'm asking too many questions. No, John. I can't answer your questions. How's your lodging experience compared to other Airbnbs? It is lovely. I'm staying... I need a lot more water. Sorry, I'm a little bit thirsty, so... I gotta buy like a gallon of water. I've been drinking a lot of coffee. So... the Airbnb I'm staying at feels a lot more like a home. This was also... the Airbnb owner is much older, so it's a real home. It's really cool. And they also these guys. Can anyone let me know what religion or what ethnicity this is? So Joseph says, as an EU citizen, you have the right to move to any country and do business. That's cool. That's awesome. That is awesome. John, as I mentioned, the Airbnb I'm staying at is the second home of a elderly woman, and it feels like a real home. It is a real home, and it reminds me a lot of my grandmother's house in Puerto Rico. Christine says, I have dual citizenship, American and German. I'm so jealous. I really now want European citizenship. Hyde says, Asians of some sort. Yeah. I know it looks like if it were like Sri Lanka, but half of them do not look. They are from Southeast Asia. Hyde says Africans. Yeah, but I don't see anyone that's there's only like two guys there that seem to be of African origin. CB says Thailand. Yeah, only a quarter of this group might be Thai. Bella says her house looks very cozy. Yeah, it's very cozy. I see it there in the distance, under the sea, right there. The Little Mermaid. Hans Christian Andersen. One of the most famous storyteller, one of the most famous fairy tale writers in all of Western history is Hans Christian Andersen. He wrote so many countless classics, but among them is the Ugly Duckling. He wrote The Little Mermaid as well, and many others. Do let us know the other Hans Christian Andersen ones. The Nightingale. Look at that. On. Christine says, oh, we have to find you a wife in Europe. Europe suits you. I do love Europe. Oh, this bird. This bird seems like it has seen a lot of stuff. So yes, I'm about to meet my namesake. Thumbelina, thank you so much, Susie. Thumbelina is one of them. Christine says, I'm too old for you, and I'm taken. Elizabeth says, I'm moving to France in the fall. I'm retired, not a citizen, though born in France. Yeah, how are you going about that, Elizabeth? I'm very curious. So, ladies and gentlemen, The Little Mermaid. This has been a very controversial statue from the very beginning. It was built back in the early 1900s, 1913. It was built. Here, of course, we have a huge group of people taking photos. So 1913, it was built and was commissioned by Carl Jacobsen, who was the son of the famous Carlsberg beer empire. He ended up seeing The Little Mermaid performed as a ballet here in Copenhagen and fell in love with the ballet, the ballerina who played The Little Mermaid. Not romantically, but fell in love with her in terms of her artistry and how she looked like. So he hired this ballerina to be the model of The Little Mermaid. Her name was Ellen Price. But Ellen Price did not want to pose in the nude. So yeah, the reason she is petite was because she was intended to be a ballerina. But she did not want to pose in the nude. This was a big challenge for the sculptor. So what was the sculptor to do? Well, the only woman he knew of that would be willing to pose in the nude in front of him was his own wife. So he used his wife as the body, and the head is of the famous ballerina, Ellen Price. However, this has been vandalized over and over and over again. Back in the 1960s, she was beheaded. They actually took away her head, and this was a political act. There was a few political descendants who were against something that was happening here in Denmark. They put back the head. Someone cut off the arm, took the arm. It was returned shortly thereafter. Then someone tried to blow off the head again, but they failed, so it left a huge gash on her neck. And then, again, someone blew the entire statue off the rock. So over and over she has been vandalized. They've been tempted to separate her even more, put her more in the water in order to prevent the vandalization that hasn't happened yet. She was toured in Shanghai when Denmark had its own pavilion in one of the expos. So hopefully they will let her be in peace. Poor Little Mermaid. So as far as I know, the name Ariel, Hans Christian Andersen novel. The name Ariel was more of an adventure that was trying to borrow Shakespeare's Tempest, and in early America's history, played by women, as opposed to here in Europe, they were played in the US, they were that's cell phone reception. Cat says Ariel means Ariel. Yeah. My namesake right here. Here. I hope you enjoyed this broadcast. I hope you enjoyed this walk. I'm going to do a short video now of Ariel. Thank you so much everyone for tuning in. It's worth visiting here. It's close to the metro as well. You can easily get here from the metro and see her yourself. I think from the metro it might be only a 10 to 12 minute walk away. And I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much everyone for tuning in. Hi, it says not spectacular but rather subtle. Yeah, it's pretty subtle. Yeah. It's a nice center, very beautifully done. Especially on the rock here, looking wistfully towards the ocean or towards the sea. DS says no. I hope you enjoyed this Copenhagen video. I'll be back Thursdays through Saturdays at 3 p.m. Western European time, 9 a.m. New York City time. And bonus videos for super urbanists and above. Super urbanists will be getting a view from one of the tallest structures in Copenhagen. I'll be showing you the views of how Copenhagen looks like from above. So if you want to become a super urbanist or mega urbanist to receive postcards too, you can go to patreon.com/urbanist, PayPal.me/Ariel Vieira for a one-time contribution if you really enjoyed the show and want to contribute. And super chat. Cult C says, Ariel, your European tour has been very entertaining. Have a smooth Summersbury cider tonight. Thank you so much, Cult C. That's so kind of you. Thank you so much for a €5 super chat. That is just enough for a cider here in Denmark. Everyone, keep being awesome and always keep on exploring. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye. ocean. Hang out with Sebastian.